Well, hello everyone. Ogre27 Kane here today, and we're going to do a review of Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition for Nintendo Switch. Let's do a real quick overview and figure out what we're talking about today. So this is essentially an HD remaster of the old Wii 3DS title. This does include a new DLC, which is Melia's story, and takes place after the main game. It gives you a lot of reason to go back and check it out. All the updated textures, resolutions, graphics, animations, sound, it's all worth it, and it comes into a fantastic package. I can't recommend this game enough. This is by far and away my favorite version of this game. It's a giant open world MMO style RPG, if you will, but it has a lot of really cool and engaging mechanics. Let's start with the gameplay. So I want to clarify what open world actually means on this, because it's not technically open world. There are a bunch of giant zones, massive zones that are open world unto themselves, filled with secrets, monsters, areas to explore, and things to go back and backtrack to. All these worlds are connected, if you will, and they're all done through quick, fast traveling. You have these little points that you'll find on a map, which allow you to warp to different areas. The combat style in this is very much like an MMO style RPG, where everything happens in real time, yet you're still utilizing timing-based and turn-based techniques. There is a certain pattern and flow you can get to, and the real-time nature to it allows it to have a lot more flexibility, if you will, than a turn-based RPG. The other really important gameplay feature to this is how inclusive the world is with the characters and the story and everything else. Every area you go into doesn't seem necessarily like it's just empty for no reason. There are a lot of vast places to hide secrets, but there are also a lot of hidden NPCs and characters and storylines you'll find within it. I really enjoy this game, and I think it's absolutely gorgeous. But I do have to mention, it is a Wii game, so it does have some older tendencies to it, some things that may have needed a little bit more updating. That being said though, the game actually runs really well, perfectly flawless in my opinion. This game will take you between 60 and 80 hours. Let's hit the story now. The story in this game is absolutely fantastic in my opinion, but I do recommend the first time you play it through just playing the story and avoiding a lot of the side quests. One of the things about this game is that because the story is so well written and has such good pacing and flow, you don't really need to do a lot of that stuff to just really enjoy it. If you get caught up doing a lot of side quests and stuff, you'll notice they eat up your time and they take your attention away from the details of the story. And they can almost impact your ability to finish this game. That being said, the story starts out essentially as a story of friendship and then turns into one of vengeance and revenge. It later molds on into understanding the world and becoming a vigilant for freedom, if you will. The game has a lot of different dynamics to it, and as the story moves and flows, each time it has its own little mini climax to it to keep you engaged to the next. I truly enjoyed the story in this game. I think it's really good, but I can't dig into too much detail, so let's hit combat. Alright, so the combat is truly where a lot of the complexity to this game exists. At first, it starts out teaching you very basic moves, understanding how to attack and understanding where your position around the enemy impacts your ability to fight. As you grow your character and learn new skills, you'll learn how these skills work in tandem, and then you'll learn how to work these skills in tandem of pattern with your other characters. This is where it gets really deep, because sometimes it may take you a long time to set up a perfect attack, but when it does, it's one of the most satisfying things you'll ever experience. This game will give you a feeling of being a boss just by having great timing and understanding the combat itself. You don't necessarily need to do a ton of grinding. Most of this game is completely reliant on your ability to use the combat and understanding the mechanics to it. You also have your Minato blade here on Shulk, which allows him to essentially tap into a superhuman type power. These powers allow you to do things that further complicate the battles, such as taking off different spike energies and other mechanics to it that throw off your normal combat. It's not always about just jumping in and finding the right pattern, so let's hit graphics and animations now. So being a Wii and 3DS game, I truly didn't expect them to do a lot to this, but I was really surprised. They went back through and overhauled everything, all the graphics, animations, textures, character models, faces, you name it, and they did a great job. I went back and recently looked at the Wii version just to kind of put it in my brain in perspective, and it truly is a leap forward. Now, I wouldn't necessarily consider it modern day graphics and animations, it's definitely last gen, but it still looks fantastic, and the performance on this game is top notch. I didn't have a single crash, I didn't have a single error, bug, anything like that. There are some weird camera things that you'll go through. The camera clips through things funny and zooms in and zooms out on you from time to time, but I wouldn't really equate them so much to the performance of the game itself, but rather just weird quirks within it. Being an older game, I'm sure there's a lot of things that they overlooked on accident, and the camera is kind of one of those ones I feel like they did. But it's not bad, it's totally usable, and it didn't affect me. So let's do controls and audio. So we'll start with controls, and I think the controls are very well done in this game. They're actually much better than the Wii version in my opinion. They were updated nicely, and being an RPG, there's not a lot to it. Most of the time you're just selecting between prompts, and there's not a complexity of buttons you have to mash. The controls in this game are totally acceptable, I have no gripes there. But now we're going to hit the audio, and the audio in this game was fantastic before, but they truly did upgrade it, and I think it's running even better now. One of the big highlights to the audio in this game is how cinematic it makes you feel, especially when you go into a large area. It definitely took me back, so let's go ahead and give it a small listen.
The enemy's weak, but don't drop your guard! Time for small fry. This won't take long.
Absolutely love that. Every time I play this game, every area I go into, I feel drawn to it. I feel like I'm part of this world. And I love how cinematic it is. I can't tell you any single song, but I can sit there and hum them to you in my head all the time. So let's do conclusion. So in conclusion, I think they did a great job with all of the updates. I think this game truly did deserve this remaster, and I'm really impressed with their work on it. The game already performed and looked great before, but it looks and runs absolutely flawlessly now. This game is a very hard recommend for me. I don't care what price point you have to find it at, and I know it's getting a little bit rare. But this is one that will last you a long time, you'll have a ton of enjoyment out of it, and it gives you a root to the series. It gives you a reason to play it. I truly enjoy this game, it's one of my comfort foods, and I hope that you do too. So thank you for watching today's video. It was a blast to make. I upload every single Monday. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. And have a great rest of your day. This is Ogre27 Kane, signing out.